Now, some breaking news has just come down. The federal government has announced that it will include in its social media ban YouTube. Now, you might recall on the weekend there were stories floating around that Google had written to the federal government and said that if they included YouTube in the social media ban, which of course says that people under the age of 16 cannot hold social media accounts, and this is set to come into effect very soon. Google said if YouTube is included in this, we will be taking the federal government to court. Just days later, the federal government has now said YouTube will be included in the social media ban. The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has released a statement. He said, our government is making it clear we stand on the side of families. Social media has a social responsibility, and there is no doubt that Australian kids are being negatively impacted by online platforms, so I'm calling time on it. Social media is doing social harm to our children, and I want Australian parents to know that we have their backs. And the Minister for Communication, Annika Wells, said the Albanese government is giving kids a reprieve from the persuasive and pervasive pull of social media while giving parents peace of mind. We want kids to know who they are before platforms assume who they are. There's no one perfect solution when it comes to keeping young Australians safer online, but the social media minimum age will make a significant positive difference to their well-being. The rules are not set and forget, they are set and support. And she goes on to say the penalties that will be in place. But her last quote's quite interesting. She said, there's a place for social media, but there's not a place for predatory algorithms targeting children. Now, the interesting thing here, of course, is that the ban is on people under 16 holding accounts. So you won't be able to have an account on Instagram or Facebook or X or now YouTube. But YouTube operates quite different to, say, Facebook, where you can basically access the entirety of the website without needing to have an account. And YouTube also has a completely separate platform called YouTube Kids, which you can download as an app and give to your kid to use, which has child-specific content on it. So the kids will, under the rules, still be able to access and use YouTube just as they are now, but they won't be able to post comments on any videos, and they won't be able to post videos themselves because they won't be allowed to have an account. I think what's happened here is the government has fallen for the three-card trick from Google. Google writes the letter and says, if you include YouTube on the list, we're going to take you to court. The government goes, well, we're not going to be shown what to do by Google, so we now have no choice but to put YouTube on the list. Google has foreshadowed that they will challenge it in court on the basis that this law hinders the freedom of political communication. And by goading the government into putting YouTube on the list, they've created the test case that will be run to see whether this law is constitutional or not.
I think that's a pretty interesting analysis of the situation and probably accurate. I mean, this law will definitely be challenged by all of these social media companies. TikTok's already running ads all over the place trying to espouse the virtues of TikTok. That one I'm not so sure about. But no doubt this is where it's all going. I mean, I guess on the YouTube point, the idea, it would have been a bad look for the government if they had given an exemption just to YouTube and not to other social media platforms. So I guess the argument that they would make is this is about keeping kids safe from the algorithm, but they can still access the videos. But regardless, there's not much evidence that YouTube is causing the harm. It's really the social media platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, where you're constantly comparing yourselves to people. You've got all of kids' social interaction has moved digitally, and the mental health impacts are very clear. So I do support some regulation of it, but the whole YouTube backflip episode from the government is just a little pathetic.
I think they've actually landed exactly where they need to be. I had serious concerns that they would say, right, we're just going to ban YouTube and kids aren't allowed to watch it, and therefore that everyone who wants to watch YouTube has to go through some kind of age verification process that would ban under 16s from doing it. They haven't done that, and they've done exactly what I think most parents would want, which is to say, yes, you can look at YouTube, you can watch your Dan TDM videos or whoever, the Mr. Beast or whoever the big thing is now. You can tell I've got a 11-year-old kid. But the stuff that's really, really damaging, which is what happens on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, which is that interaction where there's the potential for kids to fall into these little wormholes where they're being bullied, where they're being attacked by others. That capacity is removed because the kid doesn't have an account that won't subject them to any humiliation. There are kids that post all sorts of stuff, and it has happened before where people have picked up on it and sent it viral, and the kids have gone into horrible places. So I think this is good. I think it's right, and I think picking a fight with social media companies in the current environment would be an absolute lay down misère vote winner for the government.
Yeah.
So not afraid.
Potentially, I mean, you know, I have. From that point of view, it's probably fair that YouTube is included like everything else. But, you know, I have misgivings about the whole thing. I think this is fundamentally an issue of parenting, and it should be up to parents to decide what accounts their kids or cannot have, kids can or cannot have.